Okay, well, it's just 1 minute after 7. We'll go ahead and get started with our meeting tonight. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, thank you, and welcome to our City Council meeting here on March 17th. First item on our agenda, Commissioners, is the adoption of the agenda. So this is the point at which I'll ask you if you approve the agenda as it's written, if there's anything you want to pull out from the consent calendar. We're getting better at utilizing this tool of the consent calendar, but if you want to discuss anything that's on there, we'll just pull that out. We'll also have public input for items on the agenda, so we've asked people to sign up to speak. We've got 2 opportunities for input. The first one comes early in the meeting, so before we start doing our business. So if you'd like to provide input on the items on the agenda, go ahead and sign up to speak, and then there'll be another opportunity at the end, input on items not on the agenda. So 2 opportunities for public input, and then we'll continue through our agenda. But let me pause here and see if commissioners would like to adopt our agenda. I'll need a motion and a second to adopt it, and if there's anything that you'd like to adjust, we can do it at this time.
I make a motion to adopt the consent calendar. Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to adopt the consent calendar. How about would it be possible to amend that to the agenda, including the consent calendar?
Yes. I make a motion to adopt the agenda and the consent calendar.
Okay, is that acceptable? City Manager? Okay. All in favor of adopting our agenda, including the consent calendar, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, our agenda is adopted. Now, let's move to the next item, which would be public input on items on the agenda. Do we have anyone signed up to speak?
Mike Baker.
Thank you. Yes. I just wanted to say that it's great to see a clear agenda, and the meetings seem to be going a whole lot better, which I think is a benefit. And I'm on the agenda tonight and would like your consideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Aker. Has anybody else signed up to speak? Okay, with that, we'll move on to unfinished business, Commissioners. First item up is discussion concerning the mayor's possible appointment to the Planning Commission. I've had Chris Kilby express interest in joining the Planning Commission. I think he's got a lot of experience with our community. Y'all have had an opportunity now for a while to take a look at his information bio, and I see that Chris is here with us tonight. So I really appreciate his willingness to join the Planning Commission. I think he's got not only experience with our community, but some technical expertise that would be a benefit to the Planning Commission. So I would appreciate Commissioners' input on this appointment that I'll make.
I have known Chris since childhood. We went to elementary school together, middle school and high school together, and his character speaks for itself. Wonderful, outstanding citizen. He, during the fires in Gatlinburg, worked with him, and he rounded up water and food and supplies to take over the Gatlinburg during the wildland fires. He rounded up a lot of people and a lot of support, and he's been an asset to this community and an asset to surrounding counties. When things have needed to be done, he's a go-getter and has lots of connections. I think he would be a benefit to be on the planning commission to represent the city of Townsend.
Thanks, Commissioner Martin.
You're welcome.
Any other feedback?
Well, I don't know Chris personally, but it sounds like he's an outstanding citizen and resident of this town. It looks like he's been here for 43 years, so I think he would be great for planning commission.
Thank you. Okay, well, I'm grateful for that feedback. I really appreciate that, and I'll be making my appointment pretty soon. Next item, discussion, possible action, filling 2 empty seats on the Board of Zoning Appeals. Board of Zoning Appeals is actually voted on by the Board of Commissioners. You all have had a chance to take a look at these citizens that have expressed interest in joining the Board of Zoning Appeals. Board of Zoning Appeals has some particular functions as described in the zoning ordinance. They're in charge of, taking a look at things that the building inspector has sent their way. They do variances and other things. We've expanded the number of folks on our Board of Zoning Appeals from 3 to 5 in recent years. And so that's why we find ourselves with 2 empty seats at the moment. And so these are folks that have provided, expressed their interest in joining the Board of Zoning Appeals. And I would just say some of the things, Commissioners, that I think are important qualities for Board of Zoning Appeals are folks that know our community, that understand sort of how things got the way they did. That's one of the important things, the experience that helps with the Board of Zoning Appeals. Having some technical skills in this area. Technical skills are valuable. They're not always a prerequisite. There's a lot of things that go into this, making good judgments and decisions. But I think also just other characteristics are being able to show up and do your homework. And so this one is important because it doesn't meet regularly. And so like the City Council, the Planning Commission, you know sort of what schedule you're on. But Board of Zoning Appeals will get things referred, and it might not be that you're thinking about this in the time frame of a regular monthly meeting. I think they do have some regular time set aside, but it's important that you be able to take time from your schedule to be able to sit down and carefully review what comes in these appeals. These are very important, and they require a significant amount of homework and thought, and maybe some questions that need to be answered. So willingness to show up and to do your homework is very important, I think, if you're going to be on the Board of Zoning Appeals. One of the things that I think is also important for any of our boards or commissions are characteristics of what I would put in the category of integrity. And so I think when folks are working like this, there's an understanding that you are managing appropriately anything that you might have on social media. These forums, especially Board of Zoning Appeals, is one in which that decision needs to be made based on the information that's provided and discussed in that forum. It would not be appropriate in my mind to go out and take such a decision or set of facts and try to put that out on social media or put your thoughts or opinions out in some other sort of way. That would not be a characteristic of someone that I would seek to put on the Board of Zoning Appeals. So with that, I welcome other commissioners. Maybe if you have anything you'd like to say about characteristics that would be good for folks that are on the Board of Zoning Appeals. And the way that I'd like to have the vote on this, I'm going to go down the row. We'll take a roll call vote, and I'm going to ask each commissioner to provide 2 names from this list of 3. But commissioners, are there anything else that you would like to highlight in terms of your thoughts or considerations for candidates for the Board of Zoning Appeals?
I'd like to ask a question. If you don't feel comfortable voting for any one of these 3, can you vote no for all of them? Or do you have to vote for 2 of them?
Well, I would.
I think we should take more time and get more candidates, so we have a better field to choose from. That's what I think.
Okay. Well, I would just say, Commissioner Jenkins, you have to vote according to the way you believe is the right thing to do.
Okay.
But these candidates, I've seen them sitting in meetings time after time. I do recognize them as members of our community that operate businesses or that are here in Townsend every day. They're not people that are unfamiliar to me. And we've had these candidates for over a month. So I'm anxious to go ahead and fill these seats on the Board of Zoning Appeals. But I appreciate your point and acknowledge you have to vote the way that you feel. Other questions? City Manager,
If I could point out, there are, and I understand your concern, it's all we got, that people willing to serve, and we do have 2 items that need to go to BZA that are waiting for BZA approval.
Okay. Any other feedback? Okay, let's go down the list of commissioners, and if you will provide me
Can you go
with.
over the names of those that are on, just a little brief, who we are voting on? If you just
Sure.
say their names for the
Yeah.
audience, please.
I think they're on here, but Geert Adolfson, Peter Womack, and Mike Aker are the people that are listed here. Okay. Commissioner Jenkins.
I'll vote for Mr., and I'm probably butchering his name, Mr. Adolphson,
Okay.
and I won't vote for any of the others.
Okay. Commissioner Martin.
I cannot pronounce it.
Adolphson.
Yes, thank you, sir. And Womack, please.
Say it again.
Adolphson.
I did butcher it, didn't I?
Adolphson and Womack. Okay. I will vote for Adolphson and Womack. Commissioner Satterfield.
Mr. Adolphson and Mr. Womack.
Okay. And Commissioner Head.
Adolphson and Akert.
Say again.
Adolphson and Akert.
Adolphson and Baker. Okay. Okay, that's 5 votes for Adolphson, 3 votes for Womack, and 1 vote for Baker. So I will say that the voting yielded that Adolphson and Womack will be the next members on our Board of Zoning Appeals. Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Let's go to the next item, new business. Ordinance number 354-26-1C, an ordinance to amend the City of Townsend's current fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for expenditures related to public notices. And I'll turn to the City Manager for each of these to provide us with an overview. City Manager.
So this is a budget amendment ordinance we selected, and as you will see them in the future, each budget amendment will have its own ordinance, so you can get the proper time, y'all can talk about it. This in particular ordinance has to do with public notices. It is an overture that has been spent. What really caused this was the advertisement and the public noticing for the city manager position. Also, I want to say on these, experience with the state has been, it's never good to overspend on a budget and go back and have to do this. However, where the state does get, I would say, upset with us is when we don't rectify that and we have an overage at the end of the year on the budget. We don't, in the history of the findings from the comptroller's office, we've not had a finding because we overspent on the budget. We have had findings where it wasn't corrected during the budget year, where the budget wasn't amended properly. Now, I'm not in no way saying that this should be normal business, in no way saying that they may not in the future say you're doing this too much if we continue to. But that's where we sit right now on this.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, City Manager. All right, I will read the ordinance. This is ordinance number 354-26-1C on first reading. An ordinance to amend the City of Townsend's current fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for expenditures related to public notices. Whereas during the current fiscal year 2025-2026, the City of Townsend advertised for a city manager, and whereas the appropriation for public notices in the 2025-2026 budget was not sufficient to cover the extra cost of advertising and public noticing meetings regarding the hiring of the city manager, and whereas this ordinance will be submitted to the Director of the Office of the State and Local Finance as required by state statute to show continued compliance with the requirements of Tennessee Code annotated Title 9, Chapter 21, Section 403 to maintain a balanced budget. Now therefore be it ordained that the Board of Commissioners for the City of Townsend hereby amends its current fiscal year 2025-2026 budget as follows. Department line 41990-610. The original budget was $460. The amended budget is $2,260. A difference of $1,800. Use of fund balance $1,800. Be it further ordained that this ordinance takes effect when the final passage and any part of the prior ordinance to the contrary is hereby declared null and void of the public welfare requirement. Okay, there you have it. May I get a motion and a second to get this one up for discussion?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 354-26-1C.
Do I have a second?
Second. Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this, Commissioners? I think the City Manager explained it pretty well.
Just to verify that these funds have already been appropriated and spent.
Yeah, these funds have been spent.
Yes. Okay, any other questions? Okay, all in favor of ordinance 354-26-1C, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Because I thought you had to appropriate the funds before you spend them.
Okay, motion is passed with Commissioner Kedrick opposed. Okay, that's passed on first reading. Let's go to the next one. This is ordinance 355-26-1C, an ordinance to amend the City of Townsend's current fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for expenditures related to purchasing a new financial management system. City Manager?
Thank you. So this,
That's number 3.
Oh, am I in the wrong word?
Number 2.
Okay, we can do the contract with SE Group first, if we want to follow the order. So let's make sure I've got it right.
the number's wrong on the, on the agenda.
Okay,
I'm missing one.
we print the wrong ones.
I don't have the one for SE Group.
Take just a moment. City Manager?
Yeah. And I can print that out.
Okay. I thought I saw it in the packet, but I can read it from the packet, or maybe it's better. Right?
Well, let me finish.
What, do you want to read it? Do you want to read?
I'll go ahead and read this one then. This is ordinance number 355-26-1C. Okay. An ordinance to amend the City of Townsend's current fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for expenditures related to an existing contract with SE Group. Whereas on May 21st, 2024, in a regularly called session, the Board of Commissioners for the City of Townsend unanimously approved a contract with SE Group for consulting services for a city community master plan in the amount of $73,000. And whereas on June 13th, 2024, the city officially signed a contract with SE Group for consulting services. And whereas on January 21st, 2025, at a regularly called session, the Board of Commissioners passed a budget amendment for $62,000 for payment to SE Group for the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. And whereas during the fiscal year 2024-2025, $59,000 was paid to SE Group, with the remaining $3,000 returning back to the general fund. And whereas no appropriation was included in the city's fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for expenditures related to $14,000 still owed by contract to SE Group. And whereas in October 2025, a $9,000 payment was made for services rendered under the contract, leaving $5,000 still due for the fiscal year. And whereas there is a projected surplus in the department 41510 City Recorder, line 11-1, City Recorder salary of $9,666.17, and a projected surplus in Department 411650, 41650 Personnel Administration, line 142, Health Insurance of $12,131.07. And whereas this ordinance will be submitted to the Director of the Office of State and Local Finance as required by state statutes to show continued compliance with the requirements of Tennessee Code Annotated Title IX, Chapter 21, Section 403 to maintain a balanced budget, now therefore be it ordained that the Board of Commissioners for the City of Townsend hereby amends the current fiscal year 2025-2026 budget as follows. I'm going to read 4 columns here that are entitled. The first column will be department line. The next column will be entitled original budget. The next column will be entitled amended budget. And the fourth column, difference. So the first line is 41510-110-1. The original budget was $143,520. The amended budget is $139,520, and the difference is $4,000. The next line is 41650-142. The original budget was $168,000. The amended budget is $158,000, and the difference there is $10,000. The department line 41700-259, the original budget was $25,000. The amended budget will be $39,000 for a difference of $14,000. Use of fund balance, $0. Be it further ordained that this ordinance takes effect from the final passage, and that any part of any prior ordinance to the contrary is hereby declared null and void, the public welfare requirement. And this is on first reading. Mr. Hedrick, did you get a copy? Both pictures back.
So,
City Manager, you
yeah,
want to
let me
explain this?
apologize, for the mix-up. that is my fault. What happened was when I prepared these ordinances, I had the number, then I wanted to take the first two, because they do have funds that have already been used, and then so for renumbered, for whatever reason, it didn't stick. It was a technology problem on my part. I apologize for that. This is SE Group. I tried to explain exactly what has gone on with the payments to that group. It's one of the reasons why we wanted to pull these out in different ordinances. All the way back in May 21st, 2024, when the commission did approve the contract for $73,000, the contract was signed. There was a budget amendment done in the 24-25 budget for $63,000. That was not $62,000. Only $59,000 was paid, so $3,000 went back to the general fund. 25-26 budget, the line item was only included the East Tennessee Development District cost, which was $25,000. We had a payment in October. I submitted that payment for $9,000 to SE Group. That leaves $5,000 we still owe. We have not paid that $5,000 yet. Of course, they just completed the plan last week. We are going to have a surplus in the city recorder line. That was built to have the city manager and city recorder at the same time. There were some months there that did not happen, so there is a surplus there. Kind of the same deal with the health insurance, so there's a surplus there. So this one, there's no impact on the general fund. This is just moving funds around from departments. We can move without commission approval within a department. We cannot move from department to different departments. So this is taking funds out of the department and to another department to cover $9,000 that has already, check has already been sent, and $5,000 that assuming approval tonight, we will send that out to SE Group. I will say though that was operating on a contract that you all had approved, a dollar amount that you all had approved, signed contract with SE Group. We did owe them those funds. We still owe them $5,000 by contract.
Okay, so city manager, what I would surmise from all that is that we're not going above what we'd already contracted to pay SE Group.
That's correct. There's no extra payment than what was in the original contract and what was approved by commission.
Okay, and the reason we're doing this is because we're transferring funds from one department to another rather than transferring funds within a department.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion and a second to get this one up for discussion, ordinance number 355-26-1.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 355-26-1C.
Second.
Okay. Commissioners, we've got it up for discussion. Anything further? Any questions for the city manager? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor of ordinance number 355-26-1C, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed?
Opposed, since
Okay.
it's already been extended.
Okay, so this motion passes with Commissioners Jenkins and Hedrick opposing. Okay, that takes us to the next one that we have on our agenda. And this is ordinance number 356-26-1C, an ordinance to amend the City of Townsend's current fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget for expenditures related to IT management services. City manager.
So we've talked about this before with, the city has grown to the point where we need managed IT services. This is with the Allegia Group. They're not on site, but they're on call, so we can pick up a phone. They are located in Blount County. They service quite a few other businesses and small local governments. They really helped us out with a lot of the stuff. One of the two main things is going to be, the state requires us to have certain cybersecurity, which is quite expensive software. So they take care of that for us, including the training. And then the other thing is going to be just to be able to provide service for us when we need it. We don't have to wait for somebody after hours to come on site, whether that's a printer that goes down, whether it's a machine that goes down, and then also to have the software that keeps our passwords, which is invaluable if you lose somebody, and instead of having a little book that you pass around, they can come in and get somebody up and going. That's one of the things that I'm working on. The next ordinance you'll see is part of that as well, but continuity and being able to have somebody come in, sit down in the seat, and within a day be up and running and be able to keep the city going. So we have not, to be fair, I'm close on this one, but we have not overspent the budget. We are really close to overspending the budget, but we have not overspent the budget. This total includes their services. We had our UPS go down. They've had to do some service on our server, which we keep our financial software system on. So this was them getting us up and running, and this will take us out to the end of the year.
Thank you, City Manager. Let's see if we can get a motion and a second on this ordinance, and then we'll have some discussion on it.
Make a motion to accept ordinance number 356-26-1C.
Second.
Okay. City Manager, on this, I've seen some of our IT struggles over the last year or so, and maybe even going back before that. We've got computer hardware, software that, needed to be upgraded, and at times, we've suffered from, everything from trying to make sure that we're making our payroll and our police officers and city staff get paid, to being able to post stuff online so that our citizens can be advised of what we're doing. I'm of the opinion that our IT infrastructure needs these significant upgrades. I know we've had somebody on contract to help us, but I think just the experiences that you've shared tonight indicate that this group would be able to provide those services in case anything goes down or if we need help. But we do need to make sure that we have continuity. If it's the UPS, you mentioned UPS, I know that you meant uninterruptible power supply, not the little brown truck that comes to our door. But that's just an example of the things that we need to keep up with. So that's my experience, commissioners, that I would share with you.
And if I, two things, and y'all heard me talk about our wonderful printer. It just quit printing one day. We needed to print some stuff out. Okay, was able to get on the phone with Olivia. They were able to get into our system and get it running. Also, in saying that, we have a new to us printer now as well that we got from Blount County government, transferred it to us. But we've got to get that hooked into our network, and we've got to get that gives us more capability to scan, better capability to print, quicker to put things on our website or to print copies out on, and all that, blending that together is those are the things that Olivia is going to help us with.
Questions or city manager or comments, commissioners?
Yeah, since it's a pretty big expenditure to get it started, and then, well, no, this one's just a month-to-month thing.
Correct.
But it's fairly large, and I didn't know if, what our threshold for bidding things out, or having to have multiple bids for something like this.
Because it is a month-to-month contract and month-to-month for their services is under that $2,500 mark. We've not bid this out.
I thought it was $3,000 a month.
I'd rather be under it than over it. 2,500 is what I'll say. No, for the contract. So you've got some other things that happens and purchases that have to be made for the software package for what they provide for us. It's around 2,000.
How much is theirs per month?
It's been around 2,000, depending on, they will charge us for, like when we had to get the printer up and going. We had to pay extra for time, but for the software package that we're on, and to get, like they had to get us off of GoDaddy, and there were a few other things that we were using, they got us off of. That's right around $1,500 a month. But in total, what I put in there is, we've had to buy some new equipment. We've had to have some extra services from them, which is why you see that dollar amount in there.
I thought originally it was 3,000 a month.
Commissioners, other questions or comments on this? Okay, all in favor of ordinance 356-26-1C, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, this ordinance is approved with Commissioner Hedrick opposed. Okay, let's go to the next item on our list. This is ordinance number 357-26-1C. And let's see, I'll read this one. An ordinance to amend the City of Townsend's current fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for expenditures related to purchasing a new financial management system. Whereas the current financial system used by the City of Townsend is QuickBooks Desktop, and whereas QuickBooks Desktop was not designed to be used for municipal finance management, and whereas the City of Townsend has had to modify the QuickBooks software to meet the state of Tennessee's minimum requirements for municipal fiscal management, and whereas support is limited for the software and specific support for municipalities is non-existent, resulting in the inability to run reports that would enhance fiscal transparency. And whereas QuickBooks will not be supporting their desktop version at the end of May this year, requiring the city to transfer to QuickBooks Cloud version, and whereas the local government corporation is a not-for-profit company that develops financial management software specifically for municipalities in the state of Tennessee, and whereas LGC, Local Government Corporation, LGC Financial Management Software was developed in conjunction with the State Comptroller's Office, and whereas LGC's software will be beneficial to the City of Townsend as a robust financial management system that includes a purchasing module that will allow more fiscal transparency, and whereas there is no appropriation in the city's 2025-2026 budget for the purchase of a new financial management system, and whereas the first year setup and training cost for the LGC software is $25,651.40, and an annual support and user fee of $7,170 each the following year, and whereas this ordinance will be submitted to the Director of the Office of State and Local Finance as required by state statute to show continued compliance with the requirements of Tennessee Code Annotated Title IX, Chapter 21, Section 403 to maintain a balanced budget. Now, therefore, be it ordained that the Board of Commissioners for the City of Townsend hereby amends the current fiscal year 2025-2026 budget as follows. Department line 41700-259 will be, the original budget was $21,000, and the amended budget was $46,651.40, with a difference of $25,651.40. Use of fund balance $25,651.40. Be it further ordained that this ordinance takes effect from the final passage, and that any part of any prior ordinance to the contrary is hereby declared null and void, the public welfare requiring. City Manager, you want to tell us about this one?
Yeah, this is also in line of making things more transparent and also for being able to continue to lose somebody. Right now, we use QuickBooks, and we've been QuickBooks to be able to do municipal financing. And by that I mean, so everybody else is on what's called a chart of accounts, which is set by the state comptroller's office. And QuickBooks doesn't run that. So what we have to do, when we have our audit, they have to do a crosswalk to compare that, to make sure that when they report to the state, they're reporting using the chart of accounts. The state's okay with that, but it's just an example of how we've been QuickBooks to be able to use it. We have trouble pulling reports. It does not have a purchasing module in it. We can't generate easily reports where you ought to look at what was purchased, how much was purchased, or even what was spent. You're looking, when you look at our chart of accounts, when you're looking at our budget, you're looking at a profit loss that's been that's made for a company that's actually kind of been finagled to show for a municipality. You add on top of that QuickBooks Desktop is going away. They're going through cloud service, which is a completely new one. If we have issues, we're calling Informed Country, more than likely, and somebody that has no idea how the Tennessee municipality government's run or accounting purposes for that. And so we think that it's time, especially as the county, the city is growing, to move to a more transparent accounting system. LGC is a nonprofit organization. When I mentioned chart of accounts, they actually developed the chart of accounts that the state is on. The state copied theirs. They work hand in hand with the state. They're based outside of Nashville. If we were if myself or Gayla, Special Gayla, if she was to not be here anymore, to step up in QuickBooks, trust me, I tried, is a nightmare. With LGC, they send somebody in, they step you through it, and it gets them going. It gets everything back up and going. It is a big lift at first. That's going to be a $25,000 investment, but for as far as financial software goes, that's not bad for all of you that know that have these type of systems. That's not bad, and $7,000 isn't bad. So it gives us the ability to be more transparent with you all. It gives us the ability to track things. On the thing with SE Group, we had trouble getting QuickBooks to tell us when we had paid SE Group. We knew how much they paid them, but when did that check go out? When exactly was that paid? That information is in there. To get it out, it was so hard. We went to SE Group and said, look, we know we paid you this. Can you run a report? Of course, they got us this, yeah, here's the report, here's when we received the check. So this system will greatly improve our ability to track our financial stuff. And the purchasing, I can't state that too much. We are not on a purchasing order system right now. We need to be. The state wants us to be. The state wants to see more control over the purchasing from us. This gives us that capability.
Okay, because what I just read here, I'm going to ask you if there's a typo in here in your department line number. What I read was 41700-259, and I think this is supposed to be under department line 41990-232. Can you just check that and confirm that? We'll make that change before we put the ordinance up for, see if somebody will provide a
Same
first and
thing with the
second.
last ordinance too. It's
Say again?
the same thing as the department line item is wrong in the last one, so. I just noticed that.
The line is wrong in the last one. Okay. Well, we'll get this one taken care of, and then we'll go back and take a look at the other one, make sure we've got the right department line. City I'll give you just a minute to take a look at that. We'll go back.
Yeah, it should be out of IT services.
Okay, so what I've got for this ordinance number 357-26-1C, the department line should be 41990-232.
That's correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
There's also, I need to point out as well, when you go back to the last one, when you amend the budget, it says amended budget at the bottom, it's 46, and the other IT one will also say, I had to do these as if the other ones didn't exist, so.
Okay. So the one we did, well, we'll pick that up later. Let's stay focused right now, Commissioners, on this ordinance number 357-26-1C. I'll read the section again that we've made a change. Now therefore be it ordained that by the Board of Commissioners for the City of Townsend hereby amends the current fiscal year 2025-2026 budget as follows. Department line 41990-232, original budget $21,000, amended budget $46,651.40, with a difference of $25,651.40. Use of fund balance $25,651.40. Do I have that correct? All right. Let me get a motion and a second up for this ordinance, and then we'll have some discussion and opportunity to ask any other questions.
I make a motion to accept ordinance number 357-126-1C.
Okay, I think that's a motion for 35726. I'm watching these numbers now.
Yes, correct.
Correct. Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second to get it up.
Okay. Now, any questions for City Manager on this one?
So we're spending the whole 21,000 anyway, and then just adding this 25,651 on top of it?
That's correct. This is, I'm making a line item just for this, that 21,000 was in there for other reasons. This is a completely new expenditure.
City Manager, for the QuickBooks, we've already subscribed, I guess, to this QuickBooks desktop. Do we need to pay for that going forward, or we won't need to pay for that one anymore?
Yeah, that will go away. Now, the timing, we would like to get this in place by the end of May, and that's when QuickBooks, the payroll section is going away completely. The desktop will be unsupported.
Yeah, I can tell you that when we had some issue with this before, trying to reach out and get help for this QuickBooks desktop version, I guess they want you to go to the cloud version. You can't hardly find anybody that has that experience. We eventually did find somebody to help us, but it was quite challenging. So this is a piece of software. I'm not sure it was ever meant for municipalities, but this new software, the local government seems like it's more fit for purpose. It's what the state uses, and according to the city manager, give us better reports and transparency, which is what we want for our citizens and for our commissioners. Those QuickBook reports were hard to read. I needed an interpreter, in my experience.
Before the last comment, I was leaning towards saying, hey, let's push this into next year's budget and do it. That way we can, but when you talk about the fact that the QuickBooks, part of it's going to expire before the end of the fiscal year, that sort of changes my mind about the urgency of doing it. I wanted to do it more methodically and put it in the budget.
Sounds like I agree, there might be some sense of urgency.
What's the threshold of having to bid it out, since it's almost 26,000? Do you have to get competitive bids, or what's?
So we'll make sure to run this by impasse and as also some of our colleagues that are in purchasing. I believe this hits the everything for a single source, because there's nobody else that works this close that is in the state of Tennessee, that has software designed only for municipalities in the state of Tennessee, that doesn't exist. We'll make sure before we spend the money that we're in the right, but I'm 99% sure this is a single source.
Okay, so we're going on the assumption that this one doesn't have to go out because it's single source, it's fit for purpose, and there is some urgency. Thank you. Any other questions or discussions on this ordinance? And we will get that clarification from the Okay. Commissioners, all in favor of approving ordinance number 357-26-1C, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, the motion is passed with Commissioner Hedrick opposed. Okay, Commissioners, we need to go back and revisit the department line on the one for SE Group.
It's not a super, it's the,
Which one was it?
it's the IT management services.
IT Management Services.
I think it was just copied from the original one. And wasn't.
Okay. That's a typo. City Manager, did you take note of that?
Yeah, we've got an R.
Okay. And we will read this one again, all these again, on the second reading at our next meeting. Okay, Commissioners, that concludes our section on new business.
Can I ask a question or a comment?
Yes, sir.
Since we have to approve it a second time, it would be nice to know at the next reading if it truly meets the single source issue.
I think that-
Or, as what Randy mentioned, if you just gotta get a letter signed or whatever.
Yeah.
That would make people.
We'll have those
comfortable
answers for
Second
you.
reading.
Agreed. City Manager, you took note on that? Yeah. We'll have it for our next meeting. Thanks, Commissioner James. Okay, that brings us down to public input on items not on the agenda. So, any of our citizens or folks in attendance would like to provide any additional feedback? Do we have anyone signed up to speak?
Mr. Aker.
Mr. Aker? No? You're good. Okay, well, with that, brings us down to the next item, which is announcements and statements. I'm so glad to have this item on here because one of our community members has highlighted something for me to announce. It's the Townsend Community Cleanup. So the Townsend Community Cleanup will take place from 10 to 12 p.m. on March 28, 2026. This one is sponsored, facilitated by Keep Blunt Beautiful. It's the annual Townsend Community Cleanup. Volunteers will meet at the Townsend Visitor Center to gather supplies. I'm familiar with this. This helps our community so much every year. And I'm so thankful for the volunteers that participate in that. Now, y'all be safe because sometimes you get out a little close to the road. So if you're on that detail, make sure you got your vest or whatever just to be safe. Pleased to announce that. Thanks to David Rachel for bringing that to our attention. Any other announcements, Mr. City Manager?
I do. Well, first of all, I want to apologize for the typos. Not acceptable. I take full blame for that. God's be humble, so we'll fix those. The other one is if y'all noticed when you came in, the picture on the wall there of the lumber yard, Don Hedrick and Little River Railroad Lumberyard Museum did that. It's all known from them. They, part of their fundraiser is they sell those. It's a pretty cool picture. Actually, it's really cool. And it's got a lot of attention on it. A lot of people have come in and stopped and looked at that. You can own one yourself if you want to go down to the museum and pick one up. But looks really cool there, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks for that.
Thank you for that. Anything else?
Thanks. I don't know if anybody was here at the planning commission meeting. I've had telephone calls. It was in the news today about the planning commission sending forth to us to look over maybe putting a moratorium on Airbnb. So if you haven't watched the meeting from the last meeting from the planning commission, I would urge the other commissioners, if you haven't seen that or weren't at the meeting, please look at that. And I would like not to drag our feet on this. I'd like to go ahead and get something. If we're going to do a moratorium, then stick with it and plan and get everything planned appropriately. If we feel as a commission that's not the direction we need to go, then when we sit down next month, I would like to have us all to do our homework and be prepared to come up with some solutions. So just please do your homework before it comes before us. It will be on our agenda for next month.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Mayor, could you or Commissioner Jenkins give a brief rundown of that in case somebody's watching this and not planning commission?
Okay.
Why don't you give the rundown?
Well, okay. From the planning commission last Thursday, one of the planning commissioners, Harry McIntosh, brought to our attention that there is a ordinance on the books already requires a permit for a tourist residence in certain zones in the city. So we had some discussion about that. We discussed based on Commissioner McIntosh's research to which zones that would apply, to which zones it wouldn't apply. We also discussed the need for definitions. So if you came to our community plan meeting earlier this afternoon, you'll see that there's a section in our community plan that talks about a need for definitions. Definitions are important, as we're all well aware. And then the planning commission had some discussion on this and resulted in a motion that was approved to recommend to the Board of Commissioners that a pause or a moratorium be placed on new tourist residences permits in the zones to which it applies. And so that was the recommendation that will be coming forward to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Jenkins, anything more?
That's a pretty good summary.
So what that means, if someone's just bought a house here and they're wanting to use it as an Airbnb, you're saying they can't?
Well, right now, there is no process that there's a requirement for obtaining a permit, but we don't have a process for them coming in and requesting that permit. Is that right, City Manager?
So, I mean, right now, nobody is doing something that they shouldn't do. It is listed in some of the ordinances that you should have a permit for tourist residents, but there's no mechanism for us to give them a permit or how much we're supposed to charge or how long that permit lasts. So it was kind of the forward-thinking thing that went through about 10 years ago, but it just as far as the implementation didn't go through. So right now, if people don't have permits, there's not a permit for them to have. So they're not doing anything wrong or trying to get around the city.
But they do have to have a business permit.
They do have to have a business permit. If
If
you
they
possibly
don't,
business
they're
permits
operating
wouldn't issue
illegally.
that.
If they don't have one, they're operating illegally.
They should have a business permit.
Right.
We're getting several business permits.
But the moratorium means you can't start anything new Airbnb.
Yeah, how that would be up to you all. How do you word that? How do you do that? How do you classify that? But yeah, moratorium would be no new. It doesn't affect anything existing because they're grandfathered in state law. You can't touch that.
But if somebody bought something without having that knowledge or nobody told them that, that's their property rights that you're taking away. That could be their income
That
that,
could be,
that could be, and it all depends on how you write it. You write it if you buy, I mean, how you enact it is up to you all. If you enact it, is up to you all.
I think there's quite a lot to discuss on that. One of the things that I will say is we're not the first community or municipality to address this situation. So there's other things that are out there that we can study up on. But it is something that I think is probably worthwhile for us to discuss. And Commissioner Hedrick, as you point out, there's a lot of different aspects, so we need to be thoughtful about it. So as Commissioner Mark urged us, we should do our homework before this comes up. So you can watch the video from the Planning Commission and be prepared for discussion when it comes back around the City Council. Okay, thank you very much. Any other announcements or statements?
I have 3 announcements.
Yes, ma'am. Vice
All
Mayor.
right. First one, bingo is Monday, the 23rd at 6 o'clock right here. So if you've never been to bingo before, please come out. It's such a good time. Everybody has such a good time at bingo. My second announcement is we have a Easter egg hunt, our first Easter egg hunt, and we're going to be having it at the Little River Railroad Museum on March the 28th from 12 to 2. So I think, I don't know, he doesn't know this yet, but city manager will be in a bunny suit. I don't care what he says. He will be in the bunny suit or the egg suit. Either one's fine with me. But come out that day. Hopefully it doesn't rain that day, so we don't have to reschedule. But yeah, or snow, because you never know this time of year. So, but it'll be our first one, and we're super excited about it. Just the egg hunt will be at 1 o'clock that day, but we'll have some light refreshments, some bird houses that the kids and their parents can paint. That will also go at the city park. We're going to do the bird houses up there, and just some crafts and maybe some storytelling and a little music, and just a simple community Easter event. So we're super excited for that. And then my last announcement is April 7th, next month. We plan to have another screening of the Hidden Rivers film that we had a few springs ago. Some of you all may have came to that screening, and we had it in March, but Charity Rudder reached out to me last month with Freshwaters Illustrated, and it went so well the last time that they had the screening here that they would like to have that again. So that's time is to be determined, but I will have a flyer posted on social media as well as the newsletter.
And that's April 7th.
Yes,
what time?
I don't know just yet. Probably 6 o'clock because that's the time that we did the last time, but I will post a flyer and send it around.
Stay tuned.
Comment about that. I went to it the last time. It was eye-opening. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it, and I think anybody that didn't attend last time should try to attend this time.
Absolutely. It was a full room in here, wasn't it, Commissioner? Yes. All right. That's all I got.
All right, thanks, Vice Mayor. Appreciate that. That's a good one to end on. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Okay, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?